let me get into it straight away. Why people stay? Why people stay? Why people stay? Okay. Now, I'm sure you have imagined to yourself, or you have said to yourself before, when you hear stories of abuse, you have. But Solomon says I should go back. I should not rush. There's no hurry in life. Okay, I won't rush. I'll take my time, all right? But I won't go back to last week's topic. Go and watch it on YouTube. All right? So, when you hear or see people in abusive relationship, many times you say to yourself, why is that one still staying there? Is it when they kill you, you learn your lesson? I beg, leave, Joe. I beg, go away. Can you imagine? And she's still there, or he's still there. Listen, it's not that easy to leave an abusive relationship. In fact, let me say this. The reason it's abusive is because take note. The reason it's abusive is because it deals with your will. No, I'm looking for the right choice of words. The reason it's an abusive relationship is that despite what is happening to you, you lack the strength, the emotional strength or the emotional will to actually go away, despite what's happening to you. All right? I think that captures it better, yeah? So that's what makes it abusive. Because, it wouldn't have been abusive if the first day somebody just did something that was off. You packed your things and you said goodbye to the relationship. All right? But what makes it abusive is the fact that this happens again. The person is still there, is still hoping for the best, is still wishing that, So the fact that people stay is what makes it abusive. Because if they left immediately, they notice something off, all right, they would have maintained their sanity, they would have maintained their emotional health, all right? So abusive relationships are quite complex. You see, the people know actually that I should not be here. But you see, what happens is the abuser many times has so worked on their emotions, has so worked on their self-esteem negatively, all right, has so degraded their self-esteem that they just think, let me stay. Maybe he will get better. Maybe it's my fault. This person used to be very sweet and charming those days at the beginning of the relationship. Everything was fine. Maybe I'm not doing something well. Do you understand? That's what makes it abusive, because the person, the one who is abused, lacks the emotional will to get up and move on. All right? So it's not as easy, because, when you hear that one person was killed by their spouse, in an abusive relationship, what people always say is, hey, after he hit you the first time, why did you still stay there? Why did you still stay there? You should have gone. It's not that easy. Now, I'm saying this so that you are able to, you're better informed. And when you see somebody who's in that shoe, you know how to assist them. Or if you're in that shoe, you know how to get the required emotional strength you need to do what you have to do. It's not that easy. That's why they stay. All right. So I'll be sharing certain reasons today why people stay, why they stay. All right. And what I intend to do with these reasons is, as I'm talking about why people stay, I'm showing you how to overcome those reasons. All right. So let me go ahead. One of the major reasons that people stay in abusive relationships is because their self-esteem has been eroded. They have low self-esteem. And these are the same kind of people who from the beginning had no business being in that relationship. But because they felt like, I'm honored to be dating this kind of person. Like, wow, look at who is even asking me out. How did he see me to ask me? They feel like they are not good enough. So they consider themselves privileged to be in a relationship with this person. So when the person is misbehaving, instead of seeing that, no, this is not ideal, they think that, let them just manage. Let them just stay. They don't have a good, healthy self-concept. They don't have a healthy self-concept. All right, low self-esteem. I will talk about that. I feel like it's I've been preparing something on low self-esteem, and I think I will share it probably after I conclude the series on abuse. Okay, because it's a very terrible thing. It impacts people in ways that they don't even know. There are many people who you think know what to do. You think that this one should have known better, but they know, but why they cannot act is because of their estimation of themselves. All right, they don't think themselves important enough. They don't think themselves valuable enough. All right, and so because of that, they're not empowered to take certain decisions. And I'll put certain things in context very soon. All right, so one of the major reasons people stay is low self-esteem. It's either that, now there are different variations to this or different sides to it. First, the person has low self-esteem, all right, and then considers themselves privileged to be in a relationship with their abuser, okay, because they get their sense of meaning from the abuser, because they get their sense of importance from the abuser, because they have tied all of the importance in their lives to that person, okay, so they cannot imagine themselves away from that person. That is one. Okay, now in another way, the person probably had a healthy self-concept, but this abuser has so messed them up, has so spoken, talked them down, used derogatory, language on them severally, like we spoke about verbal abuse the last time. This person has so destroyed their morale that right now they cannot see any value in themselves. So they can't even, you tell some people sometimes, don't you think you deserve a better life? They can't even see themselves having a better life because they feel like, how will I even get it? Like, they just imagine that they are stuck in this place. They can't move on. Many times it's a self-esteem issue. It's one of the major reasons people stay in abusive relationships. Okay, and then this also leads to the second one. The second point is shame. One of the reasons people stay in abusive relationships is shame. What will people say when they heard that I left my boyfriend or girlfriend because of abuse? What would they say? Especially that it's harder for people who are married. Okay, what would they say? That I've left my husband though. In my house, nobody has divorced before. In my family, nobody has divorced before. I don't want to be a divorcee. They are ashamed. They are ashamed. Listen, you have to put your life in perspective. Don't forget, if you follow some of our sessions, especially when I spoke about maximizing singleness, one of the things I said there is that your life as an individual is more important to God than your relationship status, than your marriage. Your life as an individual is more important to God than your marriage. And you need to know that whether or not you get married, you have a life and you have a destiny to fulfill on the earth. All right? So don't let marriage, especially when it's not even working, don't let that to limit you, because if it's an abusive marriage, for example, there are legal ways to try, and I'm going to talk about that, how to get out of it, how to, there are support organizations that you can report to, and legal processes to be followed. All right, but the point is, you don't have to stay there because you are ashamed. Say, what will people say? People will start calling me divorcee. People will start saying that this one cannot stay in one place, and if it's a relationship not yet marriage, people start saying, after all the pictures I've taken with this person, after all the places I've gone to, after how I've bragged about my relationship, people now hear that we're no longer together. God forbid I will stay with you. Sometimes you see people, especially ladies, forgive me, all right, but sometimes you see ladies deliberately staying in a relationship just because of what people will say. What will my friends say? No way. I will stay, I will make it work. The guy is telling you, I don't want you again, get out. They say, no way, you must want me, or I will stay there. It's wrong. Have a life. You need to have a life, place value on yourself, find purpose for yourself, and be committed to that. Don't place unnecessary importance on any relationship. Listen, if you think anybody is doing you a favor by being in a relationship with you, then the real problem is you, is your self-discovery. The real challenge you have is with your self-discovery. You don't know who you are. Because if you know who you are, then you would know that anyone who is in a relationship with you is privileged. They are the ones who are privileged to be in a relationship with you because of the value you bring to the room, because of the value you bring into the person's life. Do you understand it? Nobody is doing you a favor by being in a relationship with you. No, they're not doing you a favor. All right? So you need to have a healthy self-concept. You need to know who you are in Christ. You need to know who you are as a person. And then you need to bring in your A game, bring in your values. All right? Bring in, you're bringing in something to that person's life. So don't let anybody make you feel like they're doing you a favor. All right? So that issue of shame, what will people say? In my family, this has never happened before. No, please. What you need to know is that your life is more important. Your purpose is more important. All right? Your assignment on this earth is more important. And then for the sake of those, you have to let go of that abusive relationship so that you can fulfill your God-ordained destiny. I heard a story in the course of the week of a guy who stabbed his girlfriend. And now he's crying, wanting to turn himself in and stuff like that. And I tried to read up a little bit about it, what he posted, and he said it was an abusive relationship. Now, in this case, he didn't give the details of what the lady was doing that was abusive to him, but somehow a fight or an argument ensued, and then it led to him stabbing her. Well, we don't have the details, so we can't really analyze that. But when people hear stories like that, the first thing they're saying is, there's no way she did not know that the guy had those tendencies. Why didn't she go away? It's not that easy to go away. It's not that easy. All right? So there are reasons that people stay, and I'm sharing these things with you so that you can help somebody. All right? And then if you are in that situation, you can identify the one that is yours and then find a way to get better so that you can live it. All right? You can live that relationship. The idea of love is not for you to go and kill yourself. Your death won't be valuable to anybody at all. All right? So another reason people stay is fear. Fear. In some cases, it's fear of what the abuser will do. And don't forget, when we gave the indices of an abusive relationship, one of the things we said is when you're constantly living in fear in that relationship. You don't know how your partner will handle certain things. You don't know what they will do, what they will say. So you're always on the edge. All right? So it's the same reason some people stay. They are afraid, if I go now. Now, the fear sometimes is what the abuser will do. Sometimes the fear is how they would even face the world, how they will get, what they will do next. Because somehow they have built their life around this person that they cannot even find any other thing to do away from that person. So they are afraid. What will I do now? How will I get money to fund my lifestyle? How will I get, all the benefits I've been enjoying? So because of that fear, they stay there. Unfortunately, they keep wishing that things will get better, and then things don't really get better. So fear. Fear is one reason people stay in abusive relationships. If you're that person today who's hearing me and you're in a relationship that is characterized by fear because of what your abusive partner is doing to you, listen to me and listen good. All right? The Bible says that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but a spirit of love, of power, of sound mind. Okay? You need to, in fact, let me just put this out there. Many people don't even know the importance of counseling or speaking with a coach or a therapist. But I think for matters like this, you have to find a way to empower yourself. And one of the ways to do that is by speaking with a professional, counselor or a therapist, because there's a lot we can help you to do. It's more than what I would say in just one session. All right. So fear is that it's a reason people remain there. You don't have to be afraid. Listen, it's that fear that makes people stay there and even die, or are maimed in some cases. Listen, you need to find the courage, all right, to get up and move. This is another thing that some people, fail to do. You are in an abusive relationship and you don't talk to anybody. You are keeping it to yourself. You're always lying about what happened. You say, oh, I fell down from the staircase. Oh, I was robbed. So they hit me. Oh, meanwhile, it's your partner that is doing all of that to you. You need to find the courage, and find people that you trust, that you can open up to and say, hey, this is what is going on in my life. This is what I'm going through right now, and I need help. How can you help me? You need to know that you can find people, and even if you don't know anybody to help, there are support lines. Listen, just go online. Thank God Google is everybody's friend. Just go online and type support services, support organizations, support lines, for abusive relationship or whatever the case is. You would find all of them. You would find them. There are several in Nigeria. There are several in other, developed countries also. Okay, so you always need to, you need to find a way to get support. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Exactly. Someone says they're always on the defensive. Somebody's asking you, what exactly is going on? You say, no, we are fine. No, is it your business? Is it your business? I mind focus on your relationship. Why was your business? What's going on in my relationship? Meanwhile, somebody is saying that, hey, you're not fine. This is not the you we used to know. Something is definitely wrong. But they keep covering up because they are afraid. Please, you have found help today. All right, get support. Get support. Get support. Get support. Yeah, Chiamzi says sometimes the victims blame themselves. Yes, I'm even coming to that. It's one of the reasons people stay. They say to themselves that, oh, it's my fault. It's my fault. Maybe I should not have spoken to him the way I spoke to him. Maybe because I've not learned how to cook the way he wants me to cook. Oh, maybe it's because of this. Maybe it's because they blame themselves. Listen. Oh, when we spoke about narcissism, one of the things I told you is that no matter what you do and how you try to please this narcissist, they don't really change. They don't really change. So if you're there saying, okay, next time let me try to adjust, let me try to do this better, let me try to do this differently, it will not change them. They get their sense of relevance, meaning, importance, validation from their ability to control you. That's what makes them them. That's what makes them happy. The ability to control you. That's what makes them tick. Do you understand? So there's nothing you do that the moment you want to get deliverance from their control, they will resist it very seriously. They'll fight it very seriously. Let me see some comments. Someone says it's an act of desperation if you're covering up for an abusive partner, and also a lack of trust in God. Thank you, Bukola. That's so true. That is so true. I said something before, how some people think that, being in a relationship with that person is a privilege. So, instead of finding the way out of that abusive situation, they would rather stay there because they cannot imagine losing this relationship with this person. So that's what she said there when she said it's an act of desperation. And then for some, you have prayed for a relationship for a long time. Finally, you have seen one. We will stay here no matter what happens. Come on. It's not do or die. It's not. You may have been praying for a relationship for a long time, and then you meet somebody that is not it's not the will of God for you, or is a wrong person. You have to leave. You run away. Because your life is very important to God, though. All right, someone says, you need to love yourself. So true. You need to love yourself. Yeah. Hey, Chilo, good to see you. Someone says, I heard a lady say women talk too much, and once in a while, they need someone to beat them so that they can talk less. Funny enough, yeah, I've heard that before. You see the funny things people tell themselves. They have made abuse normalized in their lives. Have you heard of ladies who say that if your guy loves you, he should hit you once in a while? Have you heard that before? Have you heard that? Yes, I have. Some people believe that. That if he loves you, he should hit you once in a while. That ladies, our mouth is too sharp, so sometimes we need one or two slaps to help us to calm down. These are ladies speaking about themselves. When people have already imbibed that kind of mindset, how will they not stay in abusive relationship? Because they think it is normal. They think it is just okay. They think it is just, listen, it is not okay. Abuse is never okay. In any direction, whether it's the lady who's been abused or it's the guy who's been abused, it is never okay. Get support. Get support. It is never okay. Get support. And like I told you, there are support lines. Just go online and check. You will find. All right, there are support lines. If you don't know any other person you want to call, you don't have anybody, go online. There are support lines. Get support. All right, yeah. Funny mindsets people have. This is why they stay, because they believe it's just okay. That's another reason. People think it is just okay to be abused by your partner. It shows that they really love you. Can you imagine? What does love mean to people? That somebody loves you, then they have to hit you? That it shows that they really love you? No. That is not love. That is not love. Toby said, you buy her first aid box as wedding gift. Exactly. No, you see, that is the truth. Since somebody has decided that you're seeing all the signs, you know that this person is abusive, and you're telling yourself that you want to stay there, no problem. Then get yourself first aid box as a gift. So that after any punching or after any beating, if it's physical abuse, you go and treat yourself. Okay? But sometimes even the verbal and the emotional abuse are even sometimes worse off than the physical abuse. Because I know certain people, okay, certain guys who will not lift their hands on a woman. No, they won't touch you. They won't hit you. But what they will tell you, what they will say to you, your self-esteem, it will deflate from 100 to 0. But they pride themselves, I didn't touch her. I didn't ask her now. Have I touched her before? I've not touched her. But they will say all manner of terrible things. They will embarrass you in public. They will scold you. They will shout at you. They will call you names. All right? Terrible things. But yeah, they'll tell you, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. Please, it's also abusive. Someone says, how about a partner that doesn't hit but para too much and always complains? Exactly. It's part of what I'm saying. Chayomzi, you're getting ahead of me somehow. Because I'm coming to that point you just made. I'll come to it just now. All right? Yeah, so like I was saying, some people may not hit, but they talk down on you. They shout at you. They complain. They nag you. It's also abusive. It is also abusive. Someone says body shaming. Funny thing. Guy sees girl, you like the girl. Toast her, she agrees. You get in a relationship. The same person you saw that you liked and asked out, then later you start body shaming that person. That's just so wrong. That's so wrong. In some cases, because of maybe marriage and the woman's body has changed a bit, they start talking to her in very demeaning ways. It is so wrong. It is so wrong. All right. So let me just quickly speak to what Chomsy wrote there. She wrote there, one slap, one bone straight hair. You see, now, this is another reason people stay, actually. Because after every abusive incident, they get some kind of reward. They get some kind of benefit. For some people, they say the makeup sex is usually great. And I'm wondering, so you need to be beaten first so that you can enjoy great sex? Really? Then, someone has been treating you very terribly. You're angry. You're definitely now contemplating a way out. He notices that and then begins to love bomb you. Begins to do all those nice things. Oh, sorry. I will never hit you again. Oh, they start buying you your favorite things. they start, it's called trauma bonding. All right, there's a term for it. It's called trauma bonding. Okay, what's happening is that he's abusing you, or the person is abusing you, but he's also supplying the things you need, or the love requirements in your life. All right, they start doing nice things to you all of a sudden. Oh, they start buying things for you, start behaving well, start taking you out, and you feel like, oh, things are getting better again. I'm so grateful to God. Nothing is getting better. It's part of the trick. It's part of the scheme. All right, it's called trauma bonding. They start doing all the nice things and you think, okay, things are getting better. But then guess what? The next incident is going to be worse than the previous ones. And then after that, you get another reward. And you say, okay, it shows that he really loves me, because every time he does this, he feels bad. He doesn't really feel bad. He's doing all that so that they can keep you there. Don't forget what abusive relationships are. It's all about control and manipulation. That's what abusive relationship is. It's about power and control. They want to make sure that you are still there. They want to make sure that they have you right where they want you to be. They want to make sure that at any point in time, they have full control over you. Okay? So that's what happens. That's what abuse is all about. Abusive relationship is all about. Okay? So we're still looking at the different reasons why people stay. Another reason is intimidation. They are threatened by the abusive partner. They're threatened. Wow. Again, I will say this. If you're experiencing any of these things I'm talking about, please call for support. Call for support, please. Call for support. All right? If you don't know what to do, speak with a counselor, get support lines online, and reach out. There are organizations everywhere that attend to abuse situations. Even the local police. Oh, yes. They have divisions for that. All right? So please get support. If you're being intimidated in your relationship, you're being threatened that you think you can leave me, sometimes they tell you outrightly, if you try to leave me, I'll kill you. And that makes you really scared that, this person can do something stupid. Listen, get support and leave. You can leave, don't kill you. Even if they tell you they'll kill themselves, because that's another thing that they say, if you leave me, I will just die, I'll take my life. Please, like I tell people, report that person, because the person is a threat to themselves and to the environment. Report that person to the authorities and leave. And like I tell people, you don't leave to that your best friend's house that he or she knows. You don't leave to that place that go to a person, to a destination that they have no idea. Because do you know that in certain cases where people have been killed by their abusive partners, it was when they attempted to leave, when they attempted to run away. Esther, it's good to see you. In fact, you should even handle this kind of topic. The resilience coach. Good to see you. All right. So I was saying that if you're being threatened, if they tell you they will kill themselves or they will kill you, please report to the authorities and leave, and go as far as possible from that person. Again, one challenge people have with living is that the abuser has so taken control of their finances. I spoke about economic abuse the other time, financial abuse, such that they have access to no resources. They can't go anywhere. They don't have money. The abuser has taken their passport. Okay, and then they cannot even move. They can't do anything without collecting money from the abuser. Those are the kind of people who will tell you that, if you're a lady, they tell you, no, I don't want you to work. I don't want you to do anything. If you need anything, ask me, I'll give you. All right. They want to be the ones that determine what you have and what you don't have. They don't want you to be empowered. Okay? If you're in that kind of relationship, it's an abusive one. You need to know that. All right? And then still back to what I was saying about threats. Sometimes they begin to threaten you with some terrible things you guys have done together. Maybe they tell you they're going to release your sex tape, they're going to release your nude pictures, they're going to tell everybody some of your secrets that that you shared with them, some of the vulnerabilities that you exposed yourself to with them. They tell you they're going to expose it, they're going to blow it out, and everybody's going to know what you really look like. Some of your silent fears and weaknesses that you have shared with them. They tell you that, oh, if you leave them or if you try it, they're going to tell everybody, they're going to tell your parents, they're going to tell your friends, they're going to tell this, they're going to tell that, and people are afraid. In fact, there was a situation of that human being who, one guy who got into a relationship with one of these celebrity girls and then just took over her life and wanted to really mess her up. And then when she finally was able to run away, he started releasing her nudes. So sometimes they threaten to do that. But listen, like I said before, your life is more important to God. You need to know this. And let it also sink that your life should be more important to yourself. Your life should be more important to you than any other affiliation or any other kind of thing. So if it's not working, you have to leave. You have to. You need to find strength and leave. Okay? Let me move on. Oh, I hear this one a lot, especially for the married people. They tell you it's because of the children. It's because of the children I'm staying. It's because of the children. In fact, it should be because of the children that you should leave. Why? Because keeping them in that abusive marriage or family, in that abusive home, what you are doing is that you are imprinting the patterns of abuse in their psyche. Don't forget the statistics I shared with you earlier, okay, in the first session, that children who grew up under abusive homes tend to themselves become abusive. Boys especially who grew up in abusive homes are twice likely to become abusive as adults. All right? So instead of exposing your children to that abusive situation, for the children's sake, you should leave. Yes, for their sake, you should leave and create a sane and proper example of what life should look like for them. Yes, they would miss that person's impact in their life. They need to have a father figure, no problem. But if that father is not representing positive values, then please, you take them out and go and raise them up properly. Because I hear people say that a lot. Oh, because of the children. I don't want them to not grow up without their father. The father that you're talking, see, fatherhood is not just the ability to give birth to children. Fatherhood is the ability to lead and model, a godly and a positive example to the children. That's what fatherhood is. It's not just being able to give birth to children. No. So if the person is not modeling the kind of life you want the children to learn, to imbibe, all right, then you should remove them from that kind of influence. You shouldn't leave them there. So some people say, oh, because of the children. Oh, I don't want to disrupt their growing up experience. Oh, I won't be able to. No. Because of those children, you should summon the courage and remove them from that abusive environment. Remove them from that abusive influence. Because you have no idea how far it is damaging them. Listen, let me say this, and let me say this very clearly. Many of the abusers you see today, they think that what they are doing is normal. Many of the abusers, they think that what they are doing is normal. They think it is just okay. You just have to show superiority. You just have to show strength. You just have to show power. You just have to show control. They think it is okay. Many times it was what they picked up from growing up. It was what they picked up in their environment. It's what they picked up at home. Many times they saw their parents behave like that. They saw their dad behave like that for the guys. All right? They saw how their dad related with their mom. And they just learned that this is how to relate with a woman. If you're talking to her and she's not listening, you raise your voice and you shout at her. You command respect. That's what they think. So they think it's normal. And that's why PK will always say, "Is your normal. That thing you think is normal, is it really normal?" All right. So instead of exposing children to such abusive influence that will disrupt their normal and then make them to grow up thinking that abuse is okay and it's just the way to go, please save those children from that negative influence and teach them in the way they should go. So don't stay because of the children. Instead, leave because of the children. All right. There's such thing called separation. For married people, you can be separated for a while. And while you're separated, all right, man is going through therapy, woman is going through therapy, and it will determine whether or not they should come back or whether they should just move on from there. All right. So please don't stay because of children. Instead, leave because of the children. All right. A lot of the things I see, I'm always talking with people. I'm always interfacing with, in counseling, with people's issues and stuff like that. Many times, what people go through, what people believe about relationships, the way people behave in their relationships are patterns that they have learned subconsciously from growing up, are patterns that they have learned from their home, are patterns that they have learned from their parents, are patterns that they have picked up unknowingly from their environment. So that is why it's important that you create the right environment for those children. Don't leave them there, and they're saying that because of so that it not look like they don't have a father in their life. No. Please, for that very reason, take them away and raise them up properly. Okay. Another reason people stay. Is I'm coming, give me a second. All right. Another reason people stay is because they feel obligated to help that person. They feel that they are the ones that have been sent into this person's life to change the person's life, to make the person a new creature, to turn the person's life around. So they stay, they feel obligated. If I leave now, who will help him get better? Who will help her get better? Hey, world changers. Listen, we have said a savior mentality, exactly. You are not anybody's savior. You cannot change anybody's life. You cannot. And some abusers even use that, as a manipulative scheme. They say, but if you leave me, who's going to help me to handle this? Who's going to help me? You already understand me. You already know my weakness. How will I meet somebody else, or who else is going to, And so you think that you're obligated to stay there and help the person to do this or to do that. Please, it's not your work. Your obligation is to save yourself. Your obligation is to have a life. Your obligation is to live life to the full. Your obligation is to fulfill destiny. That is your obligation to yourself. All right? If the person is an abuser, please, first of all, it is not because of something you did. We've talked about that, those who blame themselves. No, it's not you. It's who they are. All right? It's who they are. So it's not you. All right? Secondly, you are not the one who will change them. Thank you, my people. It's the Holy Spirit that works on people, that changes people's lives. You can't do the work of the Holy Spirit. Thank you, Ade, for that. All right? So please, don't feel obligated to save anybody. Don't feel obligated to help somebody improve. Listen, I have learned this practically. I've been coaching for years. I have been leading, pastoring for years. But yet again, in the past few weeks, I have learned again and again that you cannot change anybody who does not want to change. You cannot teach anybody who does not want to learn. No matter how consumed with passion you are, I want to help you to become a better person. I want to change your life. Hey, if they don't want to change, there is nothing you can do. I'm telling you from You cannot help anybody who doesn't want to be helped. You cannot correct people who don't even think that what they are doing is wrong. Do you understand what I'm saying? No, you can't. So don't think that you're about to change anybody. I mean, speaking as a coach and counselor, there are people that I see and I'm like, okay, let me take you through this program, and we start teaching and talking and talking. After all the talk, it just goes down the drain. Why? Because they don't want. They are not ready. They are not ready. They are not ready. You can't change anyone who doesn't want to change. You cannot. All right? You cannot want change for somebody. That's another thing some of us are guilty of. You just see somebody there, you say, oh no, your life can be better. I want to help you. Calm down. If they don't want to be helped, you can't help them. You can't help them. You see? So that's what frustration people feel. Because you're saying that, I want to help them. I want to help them to get better. I want to help them. Do they want to get better? That's what you should be asking yourself. If they don't want to get better, there is nothing you can do to help anybody get better. There is nothing. At best, you pray for them. Or you recommend sessions for them to attend. All right? Let them find the need for themselves to get better. But if they don't find it, you cannot help them to get better. No. You cannot change. Don't forget that, please. Don't forget that. You cannot change people who don't want to change. You cannot. No matter how passionate you are. And you see, the funny thing is that you're trying to help them get better, yeah? That's what you think. I want to help you get better. I want to help you. I want to teach you. And you start dissipating your energy unnecessarily. If that human being has not seen the need, does not desire change, there is nothing you do that would lead to that change that you're looking for. Nothing you do. All right? Nothing you do. Nothing you do. So please, world changers people, it's not your work to change anybody. It's not your work at all. If someone is abusive, recommend help for them. But the most important thing for you is to help yourself. And you help yourself by getting support and getting out of that relationship. All right? I like to say these things because, I like to focus on singles when I'm saying these kind of things. All right? Because many times when people are married, it just gets complex on another level. Okay? So for the singles who are hearing me, you don't have to go ahead and get married to that abuser. You know the person is abusing you. You know. We shared all of the signs in the first session. So please, if you missed it, you can go back to our previous last week. All right. We shared the signs of abuse. All right. You know that you're in an abusive situation. Don't tell yourself that because I've prayed for a relationship for so long, let me just manage it. No. For the past 7 years, nobody has asked me out. Finally, this one has come to ask me out. We must stay here. Or like some people say, they died here. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't get that desperate. Don't get that desperate. That's why people begin to permit things in their lives that they have no business permitting. Someone threatens to hit you. Just threatens to slap you. That is the cue you need to take a walk. I'm telling you. That's the cue you need to take a walk. In some cases, it's not even you that the person hits. You just see that this person has hot temper, very short fuse. Once something happens, wow, the guy's all over the place, or the lady is all over the place. That is the cue you need to leave. Because today they are doing it to somebody else. Tomorrow they'll do it to you. You understand? That is your cue to leave. That is your cue that, this person is not who I think they are. But you know the funny thing, some of you will be looking at cuteness. Oh, it's so cute. So sharp. Fine girl. Rich dude. And then you carry yourself, you lead yourself steadily into abuse. Like the Bible will say, like a sheep being led to the slaughter. You just carry yourself straight into that abusive situation. All right? Another reason that people stay, I think this is the last one I'll take, is some people are in denial. They're in denial. You're in a relationship that is abusive. Sorry, let me take this comment. Someone says, my guy hit me because I didn't allow him to check my phone. Really? It will happen again. Go ahead. Okay, thank God it's back on. All right. So I was saying that another reason people say is that because they're living in denial. They're telling themselves that it's not really happening. It's not like that. It's not like the reason he's cutting me from my family and friends. It's not like he wants to control me. It's just because he believes that they are not good influence. They are not good for me. So he's trying to remove me from the people that are not good for. They just begin to explain, rationalize abuse. Somebody is telling you, I don't want you calling your family members anymore. I don't want you identifying or associating with your close friends. These are people you have grown up together, you have done a lot of things together, your values are in sync, all right? You help each other to grow, you inspire each other. Somebody's trying to remove you from that level of association. And then you are rationalizing it and telling yourself it's not really because he wants to control me. I'm sure there's a reason. He has a reason in mind. They're living in denial. Listen to me. It is abuse. That's what it is. It is abuse. And do you know why these guys do these things? So that when they are dealing with you, you will not have anybody to run to. You will not have anybody to call that will answer you because they have removed you from all the close associations in your life. So you have them, you depend on them, you know, and then they can treat you exactly the way they want. And they know that you're not going to get help from anywhere. Someone says, how about reactive abuse from manipulation by a narcissist? We did narcissism last month. We said a lot about narcissism last month. All right. Most of these things I'm talking about, abuse, most of them are also narcissistic tendencies. All right. Most of them. Yeah, it's similar. Okay. It's similar. All right. So, don't live in denial. What is happening, and it is bad for your emotional health. It is bad for your mental health. It is bad for your self-esteem. All right? So, get support and leave. Get support and leave. Let me wrap up with one other thing that I forgot to mention earlier. Okay? Now, in preparing to get support for if you're in an abusive relationship, and then you're preparing to get support, you're preparing to maybe call the authorities or report the case or something. Listen, it is very important that you begin to document the abuse situations that you're experiencing. Many people don't know this. Okay, but of course, you can't even document it if you're still in denial. If you're saying, no, it's not happening, no, it's not what it is. If you're still blaming yourself, then you can't document it. But listen, you need to learn to document it. It's very important. It's very important. You need to begin to document it. All right? Keep a journal. And of course, your abuser must not see where you're documenting. Must not see where you're storing those things. Keep a journal. You have a smartphone. Record. He hits you, you have a black eye, you're injured. Record, take pictures, snap, do a narration, and store it in the cloud so I can delete it from the phone before the person gets the phone and sees it. Send it to create a completely different email address that nobody has access to. And then begin to mail those things to that email address. All right? You must begin to document so that when you're making a case, there are clear proofs that what you're saying happened. It's important. So you need to keep a journal. All right? Describe what happened. Describe what led to it. Describe what you tried to do to make things better, but it still happened like this. Keep a journal. Write it down. Put the date. Put the time. All right? It's very important. There's what you call incident reporting. If you're, in an organization and something happens, you have to log it. Yes, begin to do your own incident reporting. Every time something like that happens, write it down. Keep a logbook, okay? Because when you're reporting to the authorities, those things would come in very handy. If there are injuries, take a picture, video record, do a short narration. This is what happened. This is how I feel. This is what he did to me. This is what she did to me. This is what led to this, blah, blah, blah. Do a recording, do a journal, keep those things so that when you're going for support, you have evidence to tender, and it's easier for your case to be considered. So let me stop there for now. I think I've done my time. In the month of August, by God's grace, I would feature a few people who want to share about their experiences and how they were able to get out of it. Okay. Because when we talk about some of these things, for some people it still sounds like it doesn't really happen. It still sounds like just gist. Okay. But there are people who have been in abusive relationships and who were able to come out. They're able to get their lives back. They were able to bounce back, and some people were able to even remarry and just move on. I'll reach out to a couple of them, and I'll be glad to get them on the live session so that people can hear and be inspired. All right, please don't put your life on hold because you have decided to stay in that abusive relationship. Nobody deserves to be abused. Nobody, not you. Nobody deserves to be abused. All right, so if you're in a relationship that's abusive, please get support. I cannot overemphasize this. Get support. I'll stop there for now. See you guys again next week. All right. Please, if you've not gotten my book, do well to get it. Relationship Red Flags. It will show you a lot of things to look out for in getting into a relationship. All right, especially the things that you don't need. All right, so that you can run away when you see those behaviors. So get it. You can get it on coachmazy.com. You can get it on Seller. All right. Hard copy, soft copy, audio. We have it in all formats. All right. God bless you.